and Earful Tower listeners. My name's Oliver G. You're listening to the Earful Tower podcast if you didn't realize that already. And do you hear what I'm doing here? I'm letting the music play. I'm letting it play in the background. Anything goes today because
it's groovy.
It's an emergency episode. I haven't even introduced my guest. It's Lena, aka Lovely Lena, aka my wife.
Hello.
aka
Lena, just Lena.
aka merch manager.
Yes.
On the upcoming... Well, we've got a lot to talk about. We've got a lot to talk about, but the reason I'm doing an emergency episode today, I think it's going to be the last of the emergency episodes for now. But the good news is the Kickstarter that I've been doing for my new Paris memoir, Paris on Air.
Pause for dramatic sound effect.
I'm not adding... Okay, I'll add... You know what? Okay, we're going to come back to that in a second.
Please, play something over that, a real trumpet or something.
I want to... I did this... the last episode was about the Louvre, and I wanted to put in the Hallelujah music, you know? Hallelujah, hallelujah. But I didn't because I feared that maybe it's like a specific religious song. I didn't want people to get upset.
Yeah, and now you've gone out and said it.
But I didn't do it, so it's okay. But everyone out there, the reason I'm doing this emergency episode is for the reason is the Kickstarter I did for the new memoir has been successful. If you're new around here or you haven't listened to an episode for a while, I wrote a book called Paris on Air. It's about my past 5 years in Paris. In fact, to the day, almost I think exactly to the day, I've been in Paris 5 years now.
Oh, yes.
That's another reason for an emergency episode, which means, by the way, I can start the process of becoming French if I want.
Well, that's a ride.
And I think, speaking of going for a ride.
Exactly.
But also the Kickstarter for the book, everyone who pre-ordered a book helped me fund the print run, and it was successful. They suggest you do a 1 month Kickstarter campaign. I did it for 30 days. It was successful in 3 days.
That's insane.
Yes. So Kickstarter emailed me.
Very cool.
The listeners of the Earful Tower are the best podcast listeners on the planet. And they Kickstarter goes, add a stretch goal. I said, what's a stretch goal? They say put an extra goal because otherwise the fundraising's done. So I put, in case you didn't know it, Lena, or listeners at home, and
thanks for reminding me.
I put, listen, if we get to 15,000 euros, ambitious. I know.
Yeah, very ambitious.
I said, if we get to 15,000 euros, I'm going to get on an airplane with my wife, Lena, by my side.
That's me still.
We're going to fly to the United States of America and do a massive book tour. And I thought, that's never going to happen. Lo and behold.
It sounds very ambitious.
2 days ago, I get news that the Kickstarting goal has been reached. I don't know if you know this, Lena. We're going to America. You and I... We're going to get on a plane and fly to America.
So you tell me you already got the tour bus.
But that's the purpose of this episode. I want to talk to you guys about today. I know that most listeners are in America. I know that most of the American listeners are on the West Coast. So good news for you guys later. I know that there are also a lot of listeners in France and Australia. So you guys, Australia, I will come there this year at some point. But I'm not focusing on that in this episode. But you can still listen. You'll still get something out of it.
Definitely. Maybe you come and meet us in America.
And the other thing is...
Join the trip.
Everyone in France, you guys have had the last 175 episodes targeted to you. But this time it's a bit about America. And what I wanted to talk through was a little bit about the idea of it. And I wanted to talk a little bit about why you should still consider buying a book. So before I go any further... This episode is brought to you by the generous Kickstarter donors. Here is the link. It is Here is the link. Ignore that last bit. It's www.theearfultower.com, just like normal, but then do /book. Really easy to remember. I'll say it one more time. theearfultower.com/book. And that takes you directly to where you can buy it. And so just a little guide, a really quick guide to what you can buy. The most simple package for 10 euros is you can get the book for your Kindle or, the ebook it's called. So it gets whatever you read ebooks on, it plays on that. Second option is you get the book for 20 euros. And then you can get the audio book for 20 euros. I've called it an audio experience. You guys surely know that now.
That's the one I got.
Is that what you got?
No, I want a physical book.
Yeah, I think you actually bought... You didn't need to buy one, by the way. I probably would have slid one under the table to you.
Really? Mm-hmm. No special treatments here.
You were one of the... I'm very humbled to say one of the one of the several past guests who bought a book.
Oh,
and that touched my heart.
That's
the
nice.
guest on the
Support.
show. Yeah, it's lovely.
Goes both ways.
This is where Lena usually nudges me and says, "Tell them that English isn't my first language." But everyone knows that already, I think.
Oh, no, it's not that obvious.
No, it's not.
It is that
Lena's
obvious.
Swedish, though.
I am. From
Incidentally,
Stockholm.
From Stockholm, where we just spent Christmas.
Up in the north.
But
Yes.
if you want more than that, you can get, and I'm going to do this quick, you can get I've called it the deluxe package, book and audio experience together for, I think, €50. You can get your name in the book.
That's the cool one.
That's...
I was going to get that one, but then,
Your name's all
I
through the
read
book.
the book. And
the first editor of the book said, people who read this book are all going to want to have a red scooter and a Lena in their lives. That's what he said.
Oh, that's so cute.
And then the second editor said, put some more semicolons in. I don't really use them, apparently.
Oh.
Anyway, so for €100, you get your name in the thank you section of the book. These are the kind of heroes who helped really take it over the line. And then there's
The angels.
And then the top level is you get to do a Paris walking tour with me, showing you parts of the book and that kind of stuff. So if you think
And
about
the
getting...
book.
Oh, of course. And the
Yeah.
book and your name in the book and everything. It works out. It's all there, theeiffeltower.com/book. Now, I want to talk about America.
Yes.
This is the exciting part.
Yeah, man.
Whoa, I see what you did
okay.
there.
Yeah, I'm trying.
So the idea is we are going to fly to America, and we're going to rent a car, and then we're going to drive from one end to the other. And for people, I don't know how much you know about this, Lena, and I'm sure there's people
Me?
listening at home. Yeah,
Yes.
about the way that this is.
Formatted.
Well, the way it's developed,
Yeah.
right, is I sort of hinted at, and I drew the most crude, like, rough map that sort of went LA to Seattle, across Chicago to New York.
5-year-old on Paint.
Yeah, it was on Microsoft Paint, yeah. And I immediately, I shared it on Instagram or in the weekly email or something. I got all these responses. What about here, like 30 different places. And I was like, well, I don't know. And everyone said, don't go to Montana and Wyoming. And
Yeah, we were going to take the northern.
yeah, everyone said don't do it.
route.
And so I looked up the stats. There are so few listeners in North Dakota, South Dakota, and Montana, the northern states of America. There's so few listeners there
Yeah.
that would be...
It would have been like an into the wild kind of trip instead of...
Or Deliverance. Have you seen Deliverance? I don't know. Actually, whoa, maybe I shouldn't say that. I don't know. I don't know much about the States. Maybe...
That's why we're going
that's why we're
to
going.
explore.
So after all these emails, I stopped and I put up a different map. I said, do you guys live... I said, do you live in America? If so, where should I go? Would you come and see me, me and Lena, I said, do a book event, right? I didn't really say much about it. The idea is book reading, talk about Paris, bringing Paris to them, signing books, selling books, anything like
Paris.
that. Yeah. And the responses were overwhelming.
So exciting.
Overwhelming.
So fun.
So I redrew the map, and this is where we're at. Is now a good time to do Gmail?
Why not?
Okay, it's an emergency
It
episode.
is. Anything goes.
So I started getting emails in. It was a bit like our honeymoon trip.
Yeah.
Chapter 8 of the new book, incidentally. I got it. Here's one email that I liked. It was titled USA Book Tour, Seattle. See what
You know
did
what that
there.
is.
See what you did there, Lachlan. This is from Lachlan. He says,
Good name.
He says, Oliver, I live in Seattle and I own part of a wine bar. We have 170 wines by the glass, and our general partner is a Francophile. So lots of good French wine, cognac, Armagnac, and Calvados. We could do a reading there for sure.
Keep talking.
It's called The Barrel Thief. And you can see the menu, etc. here, semicolon. And then he's linked to it, bthief.com. I clicked it. It looks lovely. Quite central by the looks of it. And then he goes on a bit more about things to do in Seattle and stuff. If you have dates sorted out, let's get talking. And then at the end, in brackets, I have a Vespa, but it's not red.
Does he have a Lena?
From Lachlan. So I get chatting with Lachlan, and we start thinking of dates.
Yeah.
I say, let's start the tour in Seattle.
It's perfect.
May 3rd. I repeat, not confirmed, but
May 3rd.
but likely. Likely is we're going to start May 3rd in Seattle, which is in the state of Washington, I believe.
Someone's done a research.
I've been researching this a lot.
Yeah.
So the idea is we're going to start in Seattle, top left, right? Northwest of
Yes.
the United States of America. Then the idea is we're going to drive down, stopping every day or two in the cities all the way down.
San Francisco.
Yep.
LA.
Yep.
Those are the ones I know.
Portland, San Diego.
Yes.
We're going to stop at all these places.
Yes.
And people have been getting in touch. I wrote out a really rough list. And then we're going to go across the bottom, up towards Chicago.
It's like a reversed N.
It kind of is, like a Russian N or L or whatever it is. A
Yeah.
backwards N, yeah. So now this is also not confirmed, and I've posted it, but this is kind of my idea. So get your pens ready. No, don't write this down because it's unconfirmed yet, because we have to look into the logistics of everything, especially venues. I'm going to get to that in a second. Seattle, May 3rd. So instead of the dates, maybe I'll say the cities. Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, Paso Robles.
Oh.
Paso Robles? I've read this before. I couldn't pronounce it. Los Angeles, San Diego, then probably Phoenix, Dallas. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Between Dallas and Chicago, there are a lot of people want different directions. I can't figure out which way to go. People in Colorado, I believe it is. Omaha, I think it's called.
Okay.
Keep going, you got to come to Omaha. And people in Kansas City say the same thing.
Oh, they both sound so good.
It's hard to drive.
I have this very romantic idea about Dallas. In my mind,
Dallas
everyone...
is confirmed.
Okay, that's great. Because in my mind, everyone there looks like Dolly Parton. And
in Dallas?
Yeah. And
she's from Tennessee.
Doesn't matter. And I'm really looking forward to buying myself like a satiny Texan cowboy shirt.
Do you remember on the honeymoon season you said that all you wanted to do was milk a cow? And people kept emailing, has Lena milked a cow? You didn't see a cow.
Guys, if you have an idea where I can find a silky Texan cowboy shirt, hit me up.
I think, speaking of Dallas, there was a
Red is my color.
There was a strong voice from people in Texas.
Yeah.
Angry that we were going the northern route, however you want to pronounce it.
No.
And there was
they're starting off angry?
Well, I listened. I caved.
Yeah,
so we're going to go through there. And then the other strong and angry contingent was in Atlanta.
Okay.
But what was really cool, there was a Facebook thing, and
Yeah.
I didn't go through Atlanta on the draft map. Someone wrote, I'll buy you a drink if you come to Atlanta. And then the next comment was, I'll buy the second one. And then there's third one, fourth one. It was like 5 comments. So we got 5 drinks.
Atlanta, are you getting us drunk?
Yeah, well, apparently. But more on Atlanta in a second. So then Chicago, where if all comes through, we're going to do we're going to do an event it's called Offshore.
Okay.
It's a rooftop bar, right? And it's recently been given the Guinness World Record for biggest rooftop bar in the world.
Okay, that's so American. I love it.
So amazing.
I love that.
Amazing.
How
so
funny.
The contact I have there said to me, we could do an event. And I said, the biggest rooftop. I'm not sure I could bring such a crowd there. I don't know. I still have no idea how many people are going to come to these shows at all.
How big is the biggest rooftop?
I said, so what kind of group were you looking for? She said, we could do anything from 10 to 900. So...
okay, well, that gives you some sort of
I'm
scope.
pretty sure we can get 10. I think we can get at least 10. Maybe we get 900.
I mean, just you and me with 2, so we only need another 8.
Maybe people, I don't know.
We can pay them.
We'll see. Okay, then from Chicago, Cleveland, where we have the biggest, who claim to be the biggest fans of the Eiffel Tower in Cleveland. Though I'm not sure if you guys will have competition elsewhere.
Yes.
But we'll
Who
see. And then Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. I've written Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Atlanta, Orlando, Miami.
This is sounding so exotic to me. I can't wait.
But Miami, I'd written dates. You can find it all on social media. The dates says that it ends June 11th in Miami. The big cities, New York, May 30th, LA, May 10th. But let me just repeat one more time before we get on with it. Nothing is confirmed. Absolutely nothing. Nothing is confirmed except that we'll come.
Yes.
So don't get angry.
Don't get excited.
Don't be disappointed. Definitely don't definitely get excited.
Get excited.
Because we're going to do it. But here's the honest word. If there's a choice between 2 cities that take a lot of driving to get either way, I'm definitely going to lean towards the city that has the
biggest bribe.
That has a venue sorted.
Yeah.
That has a venue.
That makes sense.
Because if that's the hardest thing for us to organize from here.
Of course.
Because we don't know what they look like. We don't know what the people are like. But people like Lachlan in Seattle who have a wine bar or people who have things like that. The other thing is a lot of people emailing saying bookshops. The idea is I'm going to fill the back of the car, which we should talk about in a second, with books that are printed off because they're getting printed in the States, in New Jersey. So I'm going to have a bunch of books and I want to try and sell them on the road. And if I know how it works in Paris. If you go into a Paris bookshop, then they want to sell books so that they make money.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Whereas we looked at the prices last night of a road trip in America, and it's expensive.
It was staggering.
Yeah, it was pretty staggering, but that's all right. That's all right.
Wuthering Heights.
Well, so what we're going to do is hopefully sell some books along the way to help make ends meet as well. But if you have access to a venue, especially I think wine bars and wine cellars and stuff works well, because then the person who runs it will presumably be happy because people will be coming in buying drinks.
Yeah,
that's how it's worked at a lot of the Paris events that I've done. Is that you bring
similar sort of venues.
Yeah, you bring a crowd and then they're
happy when they sell.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Which leaves me wondering still why the Australian ambassador let us have his living room last 2 months ago. But
oh,
hey,
Brendan.
I don't know what he was selling. But look, that's the start of it. Mm. We're going to do that trip. It's almost certainly going to be May, and it's almost certainly going to start in Seattle.
May is soon.
Yeah, I know.
How exciting.
But here's my call out to you guys, is that if you have access to a venue or you know of a venue, other people have been saying that Alliance Française could be a good example. If you know someone there, if you know of a place along that kind of route that I just said, please get in touch, because that will make it a lot easier for me to figure out where to go. Mm-hmm. And secondly, if you haven't got the book, please get it via that Kickstarter link now, because that's the way you definitely will get a copy of it straight away.
And you have the opportunity to get the name in your name in the book.
Yeah, there are about 30 people, I think, who've opted to get their name printed in the back. You'll be in the book.
So cool.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
It is cool.
And then, and the other thing is, because we'll be going away, then I won't be able to post out books straight away either.
Yeah, so it'll be a slight delay.
There will be a little bit of a delay. So get it via Kickstarter. You've still got, by the time this comes out, I'm going to release it today. You've got, I think, less than 2 days. So if you're hearing this now, get straight on your phone or your computer, theeiffeltower.com/book. Now let's talk about America.
All right.
When I say America, what do you think?
I'm thinking the bigger the better. I'm thinking excitement. I'm thinking, it's just like the land of golden beams.
The land of golden beams.
Yes.
Yes. You know, Sweden and America have a very strong connection.
Yeah, I think everyone fled my country to come to America.
Yeah, that's
I have some family over there. I think in what's it called? I've never spoken to them. They are.
You mean so this is
like
just
very distant.
This
family.
is 200 years ago. A lot of Swedes.
Yeah.
The percentage of Swedes.
I think it's like Kansas?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, somewhere there.
Okay, maybe we need to go through there then.
Yeah, maybe.
We can do that.
But
I think it's like 200 years ago. Some crazy percentage of Sweden went to America.
Yeah.
Crazy, like something like 10% or something.
All
crazy.
the farmers, basically.
Yeah. And then set up station. You know, like have you seen Fargo? That movie Fargo.
Yeah.
And not the recent series, the original movie. When I watched that and heard the way they talk and all their names, the character names, they're all Swedish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their names
and
are
they even yes, they're speaking English, but it sounds like Swedish.
Yeah, because they go like
yeah.
And their names are like instead of like I don't know, Nyqvist, it's like Nyquist.
Nyquist.
Yeah, things like that.
Yeah.
Americanized. Pretty cool.
I like that.
As far as Australia and America connection, not as strong, I don't think. But hey,
that's all right.
We can discover.
You can always start it.
Where do you, of all those cities, besides your satin, what did you want? Satin negligee? What did you say? What was it? A blouse?
It's a cowboy shirt.
A cowboy shirt.
A humble cowboy shirt.
Besides your humble cowboy shirt,
yes.
Are there other places that you're particularly interested by?
Yeah, I'm interested by like loads of places. Oh my God, I can't choose. Miami.
Yes.
I'm very interested by Miami.
We have a regular listener who I did a shout out to in a recent episode, Maria Trenaro. Maria.
Good effort. Yeah.
Maria, a very good friend of the show. We met her a bunch of times. She's in Florida.
Hi, Maria.
Yeah, she'll be listening. Hi, Maria. How you doing, Maria?
Hope you're well.
We're
going to see you soon.
If you're in Miami when we're there, I hope you know of a bar or something that we can hit up. But I'm also really intrigued by Florida in general.
Yeah.
Florida, you hear like what I know about Florida comes mostly from Seinfeld.
Miami Vice?
No, Seinfeld.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it's always Seinfeld's huge in Australia.
Yeah.
Or was. I don't know if it still is. And they always go down to Florida because the parents retire there. So that's all I really know about it.
Do you want to visit the retirement home in Florida?
I
wouldn't mind.
When we go to Florida, I want to. Okay, so you want the satin cowboy?
Yep.
I want to get like a Hawaiian shirt.
Okay, deal.
Like an oversized one.
Perfect.
And wear it in Florida.
With some khakis.
Like, I kind of want to retire.
Great.
At
Golf
my
club.
age. The other thing I'm really excited about, and this might not happen, but close listeners to this show know that I like the game of basketball. I'd love to see a game when we're over there.
Game of basketball.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact...
so LeBron, if you're listening...
It's the playoffs there when we're going to be there, so it's probably unlikely, but that's something I'm really looking forward to. Basketball features a little bit in the book. Back to the book for a second.
It does. It sure does.
Without giving any spoiler alerts, should I give a little spoiler alert?
Yeah.
There's a couple of stories, and I know that regular listeners know some of these stories, but I've sort of fleshed it out and told the full one. It's the Parisian street basketballers who were responsible for teaching me so many precious lessons about the French language and French customs and culture.
Yeah.
So, for example, everyone knows the
Funny,
story.
you don't think you would have that on this basketball court. But yeah.
Speaking of America as well, I wrote in the book that a lot of the Parisian guys act quite American. They play like American rap music at the basketball courts. They do a lot of high-fiving and, call each other bro and mech and stuff like this. Not that Americans say mech, but this kind of like...
streety vibe.
So there's a lot of that going on. And one of the stories in the book that I'm not going to get too much into right now, but that was really nice is two of them in particular from Normandy were playing one day and were chatting afterwards, and they realized how little I knew about cheese. In fact, the story, I'll give you the little intro to it, is they said, I said, are you guys going to play basketball next week? And they said, oh, Oliver, next week is the first week of the Mois de Gruyère. And I said, what's that? And they said, it's the month of Gruyère cheese. And I said, what do you mean by that? And they go, Gruyère cheese, it's full of holes. And I go, yeah, don't get it. And they go, well, a Gruyère cheese is full of holes, and next month is so full of public holidays that everyone takes holidays, the basketball won't be on, blah, 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 blah. And I said, oh, guys, I'm sorry, I don't really know my French cheeses. And they looked at me and they said, Gruyère is Swiss.
Oh,
and I said,
no.
all right, you got me. And they go, that's it. We're going to come round to your house and we're going to give you a cheese lesson. And that's exactly what happened. I'm not going to tell you how it went because that's the chapter of the book.
Boy, was it good.
Well, you were there.
I was
It
there.
was pretty good. They came and gave us a lesson to remember. But they're the kind of stories, that exact kind of story is what I could foresee. I don't know the rules on book tours. I've never been on one before.
No, me neither.
But I would like to think I wouldn't just go and do the same speech at every wine bar in California. The chapters are really small. They're like 2 pages, and there's like 100 of them. And I think I'll do a different chapter every night. It'll be like when Bruce Springsteen went on tour and played a different album every night.
Yeah.
You heard about this? He just went... I saw him play.
Speaking of, I have a sneaky little idea of how to promote this tour.
Yeah.
I have an image in my mind, and I'm not going to reveal it quite yet because I need to convince you.
I don't like the sound of this.
I like the sound of this.
What do you mean, an image to... Well,
it's going to kind of be like the
to put on the tour
image.
bus.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Should I ask you more about this, or is this something to come?
I don't know.
How
do you feel about it? Do you want to know more?
Go on, you can give me a taste of it. Well, also, how did you get to be the poster manager of
this?
I
feel like that it's a self-proclaimed tour manager.
I guess you did the cover of the book. Yeah,
I did.
Okay.
So I feel like I have some sort of power.
All right, go on then.
Over this.
Tell me.
Over you.
Well, you did say, speaking of Bruce Springsteen, so I'm already thinking rock and roll.
It's Bruce themed.
Okay. Yeah.
Should I reveal the full idea?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. The idea is you in a studio, professionally photographed.
Okay.
Back towards camera.
Hang on.
Tight pair of Levi's, stripy t-shirt,
You talking about-
red beret in your right back pocket while you're casually leaning to one side slightly.
You talk about the
Yes.
Born in the USA cover,
Yes.
album cover.
Yes, Frenchified.
There's no way.
Yes,
There's no
there is.
way.
Are you
Off
kidding
his
me?
backside.
Yes.
There's no way.
Yes, there is way.
I think that's.
There is way.
We could talk about this.
I already booked the studio. I'm sorry.
That's a really funny idea. A beret instead of
It's
a.
not just an
instead
idea,
of a
it's
baseball.
happening.
Really?
Yeah, it's happening.
Well, we'll see about that. No promises on anything in this episode. That would be funny though.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Good lord. Okay. All right. Speaking of, I should do a shout out to Lena, by the way, for people who like artistic views on Paris at Parisian Postcards on Instagram.
Yeah.
Go and check out. She's been doing watercolors lately. She did the cover of the book.
I did.
Very handy with a watercolor,
With a brush?
with a brush
In
or
a
a
tight
pen
spot?
or a pencil. But yeah, go and check her out as well, especially because she's doing behind the scenes of a lot of Eiffel Tower stuff. So if you like this show, you probably find her stories more interesting than mine, and that's just that's unfortunately the
This
truth.
is where you get all the goods.
But I think we can finish on the car.
Yeah.
So I looked up last night. I went on all I did was I went on the most common. We're not sponsored by them or anything. I went on a very common car rental
hire.
site, and I said all I want is unlimited miles between Seattle and Miami. By the way, everyone at home, I realize how ridiculously big that trip is. But don't forget,
Yeah, people have said like you never do that.
people
that's
said
ridiculous.
the same thing
But
before we did the
have
honeymoon
done
trip.
it before.
We did 4,000 kilometers on a scooter that goes 30 miles an hour.
And we have actually done an American road trip before.
We did one.
Yeah, we went from New York down New Orleans or Gnarly. No, I can't pronounce
New
it.
Orleans.
And then sort of zigzagging our way over to LA.
When we were young.
Young and
Yeah.
carefully.
So we know what's involved in it, and please, I remember when we were going to do the honeymoon season. Someone, I wonder if they still listen. They sent me a long email berating me about how bad the idea was and how dangerous it was.
Yeah.
They were like, "You shouldn't do it. You do
Where's
even
this sense of adventure?
have some sense of adventure, guys." The car,
We're doing it.
We're doing it. There's no
Yes.
doubt about it. So the car, I looked it up, and I did unlimited miles Seattle to Miami. The price was about. I think it was about 2,000 euros, 2,500 euros, something
yeah.
like that. But you can get the difference of cars you can get for the same price is amazing, right? You can get a
Is
convertible.
a tour bus
You
included in that offer?
You can get
A roadie?
You can get kind of any car you want for the same price. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's an American thing or whatever, but we can kind of get whatever we want. They're all the same.
As long as it's not a Vespa.
Yeah, we're definitely not getting a Vespa.
No.
No, we're gonna get some
That'd be
kind of.
insane.
We're just gonna get a kind of small, cheap car, I suppose. Although
Something that we can fill with books. And I am not just an illustrator with watercolors. I also design shoes and handbags. And I'm going to bring some of my new handbags on the trip. So if
Cool.
you're interested, hit me up. I'll show you the styles.
Are these the same shoes and handbags that one can find in Printemps department
It
store?
is.
Yes.
Well, not the
okay.
handbags quite yet because they're so new.
Ah, the shoes.
Yeah.
The shoes. Okay. Are you? This is news to me. You're piling up the car with shoes and handbags as well.
What?
Oh goodness me! We're
Maybe.
in for a
I
trip.
might have some meetings
I'm gonna-
booked on the way.
Have you actually? Oh my gosh. Okay, so
Yeah.
this is the idea. I'm going to need to get a bigger car for the shoes and the handbags, apparently. But if you can in any way help make this trip easier logistically, if you own a hotel chain, that would help.
That would be quite something.
If you if you can help out in any way, I've raised money. I'm not going to. It's very public. I've raised 15,000 euros, 8,500 of which are going into the book. This isn't. I'm not going to walk away with profits from this Kickstarter. This is all going back into the book. So
Or promoting the book,
or promoting
which
the book.
the trip is.
But it's going to be the trip of a lifetime. I'm very excited to meet a lot of you guys who've been listening, emailing, subscribing, or supporting the show on Patreon. Little shout out to the Patreon members there, patreon.com/The Eiffel Tower. I'm looking forward to coming and meeting you all, and get in touch if you can help make that a little bit easier, because it's going to be a big trip. It's going to be an amazing trip, and I'm very excited about it. And then in the future, we'll start thinking about Australia. But don't worry, guys, I will be home before long. 2020 for sure. So finishing thoughts.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add, Lena?
Ooh, put me on the spot here.
Dolly Parton,
Yes.
Saturn,
Yeah,
cowboy shirt. Are you going to get cowboy shoes as well?
Already have them.
Okay, really?
Yes.
All right, let's stick with that goal from you right now. Satin cowboy shirt for Lena, red in Dallas.
Good memory.
If I repeat it, I'll remember it as well.
Yeah.
Basketball game for me. That's
Sounds
the hit
good.
list.
That's
And then
a deal.
I'm going to share everything on social media today so far and a blog post. Check it out. If you haven't got the book, one more time, theeiffeltower.com/book. Go and get it. Paris on Air. Thanks for all your support, everybody. And we will see you in the United States of America. May 2020.
I don't